The first time anyone truly saw Maya Torres in the Laurent mansion was the day she dropped the silver tray. The crash rang through the marble foyer like a gunshot, sharp and humiliating. Crystal glasses shattered, scattering across the polished floor in glittering fragments. Conversations halted mid-sentence. A violinist near the grand staircase faltered into silence. Maya froze, her hands trembling. She wasn't supposed to be there during events. Staff like her were meant to move invisibly along the walls, efficient, quiet, forgettable. But one of the senior maids had called in sick, and Maya had been pushed into the evening shift without warning. "I'm so sorry," she whispered, kneeling quickly to gather the broken pieces before someone could yell at her. No one did, because at the top of the staircase stood Isabella Laurent, the silent heiress. She wore a pale blue gown that shimmered under the chandelier light. Her dark hair fell over her shoulders like silk, her face calm and expressionless. Guests often stole glances at her, whispering behind champagne flutes about tragedy and trauma and billions of dollars. Isabella hadn't spoken in 5 years. Not since the night her mother died in a car accident that tabloids devoured for months. And now, as the broken glass reflected chandelier light around Maya's shaking fingers, Isabella was staring directly at her. Not through her, at her. Maya swallowed. She'd heard stories from the kitchen staff, that Isabella barely reacted to anything. That doctors flew in from Europe and left shaking their heads. That her father, Victor Laurent, could buy half of Manhattan but not a single word from his daughter. Yet something about Isabella's gaze wasn't empty. It was searching. Maya looked down quickly and finished cleaning. When she stood, tray collected, she dared one more glance upward. Isabella was still watching. The next morning, the mansion was quiet again, vast and echoing. Events ended. Silence returned. Maya worked in the East Wing, where sunlight filtered through tall arched windows and dust settled faster than anywhere else in the house. The East Wing had once belonged to Elena Laurent, Isabella's mother, before the accident. Few people came here now. Maya preferred it that way. As she dusted an antique bookshelf, she hummed softly, an old lullaby her mother used to sing while cooking lentils in their small apartment kitchen. It wasn't polished or pretty, but it made the work feel less lonely. "You can ignore me," she murmured absent-mindedly, assuming she was alone. "Everyone else does." But she wasn't alone. Isabella sat by the window in a high-backed chair, hands folded in her lap. No nurse hovered nearby today. No therapist with careful words and expensive shoes. Just the girl in silence. Maya startled slightly when she noticed her. "Oh, I didn't see you there." No response. Still, Maya continued working. Something about Isabella didn't make her nervous the way the father did. Victor Laurent carried sharpness in his presence, like a blade hidden in a tailored suit. Isabella felt different. Fragile, yes, but not empty. "I hate hospitals," Maya said suddenly, more to herself than anyone. "They smell like secrets." Isabella's fingers twitched. Maya didn't notice at first. She was focused on folding a linen cloth properly. "My mom's been in and out lately," she went on quietly. "They say she needs rest. But rest costs money." Silence. Then, a faint shift of movement. Maya glanced up. Isabella's head had tilted slightly. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but it was intentional. "You understand that, don't you?" Maya asked softly, without thinking. Isabella's eyes flickered, just briefly, toward the door. Toward the hallway camera. Maya followed the glance. The black dome lens stared down at them. Something tightened in her chest. "You don't like those either." Isabella's breathing changed. Faster now. Not panicked, but alert. She nodded. Once. Maya's heart skipped. It was small. Barely there. But it was the first response anyone had ever witnessed from her in years. Before Maya could say more, footsteps approached. A nurse entered briskly. "Miss Laurent, it's time for your session." Isabella's face returned to stillness. The moment vanished like it had never happened. That evening, rain pressed against the tall windows, turning the mansion gray and hollow. Maya had been assigned to bring fresh towels to Isabella's room. She hesitated outside the door when she noticed it was slightly open. Inside, Isabella sat on the floor, not in her chair. Surrounded by paper, Maya stepped closer instinctively. They weren't drawings or therapy exercises. They were newspaper clippings. Headlines about the accident. Photos of twisted metal. One article circled in pen. Brake failure suspected in fatal crash. Maya's breath caught. Why would Isabella hide these? A soft creak betrayed her presence. Isabella's head snapped up. Their eyes locked. For a long moment, neither moved. Then Isabella did something unexpected. She gathered the clippings quickly and pressed them to her chest, not ashamed, but protective. I'm sorry, Maya whispered. I didn't mean to intrude. Isabella shook her head, not angry, urgent. She rose unsteadily and walked toward Maya. Up close, her eyes were not dull at all. They burned with something trapped behind glass. She grabbed Maya's wrist. Her hand was ice cold. Then she pointed, not at the papers, at the wall, at a framed photograph. Maya followed her gesture. It was a family picture in the garage. Victor smiling tightly, Elena mid-laugh, Isabella caught between them. The garage. Isabella's hand tightened around Maya's wrist. Then she whispered something. It was so faint Maya almost thought she imagined it. Garage. Maya's pulse roared in her ears. You remember, she breathed. Isabella's lips parted again, but no sound followed. Her throat worked painfully. Footsteps echoed in the hallway. Isabella released her immediately and stepped back into stillness just as Victor Laurent appeared at the doorway. He looked composed, as always. Everything all right? Maya lowered her eyes. Yes, sir. Just delivering towels. Victor studied the scene briefly, his daughter on the floor, papers scattered, then smiled faintly. Bella has phases, he said smoothly. We try not to encourage unhealthy fixations. Unhealthy. Maya nodded obediently and left. But her mind raced. That night, she couldn't sleep. Garage. Brake failure. Security cameras. The way Isabella's body had tensed when the hallway camera was in view. Something wasn't right. The next afternoon, while polishing the study desk, Maya heard raised voices. Victor Laurent and a man in a gray suit stood near the fireplace. I told you it was handled, the man muttered. It was, Victor replied sharply. But if she remembers, she was a child. She was there, Victor snapped. That's the problem. Maya's stomach dropped. She moved silently behind the bookshelf, heart hammering. She hasn't spoken in 5 years, the man continued. That works in your favor. It works, Victor said coldly, as long as it stays that way. Footsteps approached. Maya slipped out just in time, her hands shaking. That evening, she returned to the east wing alone. Behind one of the shelves, she had earlier noticed a loose air vent. With trembling fingers, she removed it. Inside was a small voice recorder coated in dust. Her breath stalled. She pressed play. Static crackled. Then a woman's voice. Warm, firm, unmistakably Elena Laurent. If anything happens to me, Bella, remember what you saw. Remember the garage. Don't let him rewrite the truth. Maya felt her knees weaken. In the background, a male voice shouted. Victor. Then the screech of tires. The recording cut abruptly. A shadow fell across the floor. Maya turned slowly. Victor Laurent stood in the doorway. Calm. Controlled. You shouldn't be here. Her fingers tightened around the recorder. I was cleaning. At midnight. Silence thickened. From the hallway came the soft sound of footsteps. Isabella. She stood behind her father now, eyes wide, breathing uneven. Victor noticed the device in Maya's hand. Give that to me. He extended his palm. Isabella shook her head violently. Her lips trembled. Victor's jaw tightened. Bella, it's time to stop this. Her chest rose and fell rapidly. Then, a sound. Rough. Fragile. Stop. Victor froze. Maya's eyes filled with tears. Isabella stepped forward. Stop. She repeated, stronger this time. 5 years of silence shattered in a single word. Victor staggered back as if struck. You lied, Isabella whispered, voice cracking with disuse but fueled by fury. You said accident. Her breathing steadied with each sentence. I saw. You cut brakes. The room seemed to tilt. Victor's mask fractured. You don't understand, he hissed. Your mother was leaving. She would have taken you away from me. She was saving me, Isabella said. Maya didn't realize she had already dialed emergency services until sirens wailed faintly in the distance. Victor's composure collapsed into something smaller, uglier. He looked at his daughter not with love, but with exposure. For years, he had relied on her silence. But silence had never meant absence. It had meant fear. And now fear was gone. Police escorted him out quietly. No grand spectacle, just the slow unraveling of a powerful man. In the garden at dawn, Isabella sat wrapped in a blanket, her voice hoarse but alive. Maya sat beside her. You listened, Isabella said softly. Maya shook her head. You were always speaking. They just didn't want to hear. Sunlight brushed the roses gold. For the first time in years, the mansion did not feel like a cage. And the girl who had been silent was silent no more.